everyone, it's me Rushalan here. So today is Monday, and how's things going on with you guys? I know some of you guys has actually started your job, and some of you guys have actually had a restful weekend, and I hope things are going really well for you guys. So here it's me Rushalan again, and today I'm actually gonna share about IPOing in Malaysia and what does retail traders should know about IPO. I think before we actually go into more related to IPO, and I'm sure a lot of people actually started investing or trading immediately into stock market without knowing how are these stocks being listed in the market. If you guys really notice, some of these stocks before they actually get listed into market, they were actually extremely cheap. By the time they actually get listed into the market, and just imagine, you might be actually getting a gain of 50%, even 100%. But the problem here is that you might not able to get the amount that you have actually subscribed for it. So anyway, without any further ado, let me walk through into this very exciting topic about IPOing Malaysia and what does retail traders should know about IPO. So I've actually segmented into few parts. So let's go into the second page. So this is the second page of my slide. So I'm going to actually share to you about introduction to Malaysia IPO, advantages of investing in Malaysia IPO, risks of investing in Malaysia IPO, tips for investing in Malaysian IPOs, and important links. The next one is brokers in Malaysia, then conclusion, then bon voyage. So basically these are the most important thing that you guys really need to understand is the risk, how to invest, and making sure that you are actually subscribing the right one. So let me go into the next slide. So the next slide is actually about introduction to Malaysia IPO. So what is IPO means? IPO means initial public offering. Initial public offering is a process of offering shares of a company to the public to raise capital. I think the most important part for the CEO, the bosses of the company, businesses, they wanted to actually have extra cash inside the pocket in order for them to expand their business, or probably to do something else a part of expanding. The next thing is that Malaysia IPOs is expected to remain active in 2023 with lots of companies expected to list on Bursa Malaysia. Then the next one is, the thirdly is, the Malaysian IPO market is an attractive option for companies looking to raise capital and investors looking for potential opportunities. And last but not least, investors can benefit from the potential upside of investing in IPOs as well as the potential for long-term returns. So last but not least, let's go into the cycle or the flow of how initial public offering being worked and until they get listed into the market. So first of all, they need to understand the reason behind of the release of the IPO. They need to decide what is the main purpose of having this initial offering, because the thing is that it's all about how do you sell your share to the public. That's the reason you have to capture their heart. At the same time, it's not only the retail traders. There are actually institutional traders, or probably the directors would actually buy because they actually think that the business might actually expand in 5 years or 10 years time. So that's the reason they're actually keeping their share. The next thing is on hiring and investment banking. So you need to hire an investment banking in order for you to actually have this IPO get listed into the exchange market. So the third thing is underwriting tasks takes place, legal financial details are worked out. So there are so many things you need to understand. What are those underwriting tasks need to be taken place? Perhaps I might not able to actually advise or elaborate more on the maybe on the subsequent slides. I'm sorry, on the subsequent sharing, I would definitely be more meticulous explaining about underwriting tasks to take place. But for now, I think it's this slide is more about what is IPOing and how does retail traders gonna benefits from it. So the next one is conducting pre-IPO research to select an exchange for getting listed. So you really need to do an extensive research before actually um, market market your business into the public. Then the next one is cost computing, and then marketing, finalizing the IPO price and allocating shares. I think this is the most those important part for them to actually know, because you can't actually have more shares, or probably because the outstanding shares is the more outstanding shares you have, then the price of the share might actually goes down, because you do not know how valuable it's your company. But if your company is too very high price, than having a more share, I think it gives a lot of leverage to the retail traders to buy more share in the market. Then the last one is getting listed on trading on the stock exchange. I think that's the most important part, which the business people and also the retail traders are actually looking forward. I think for time being, I think before they actually getting listed, everyone need to have a CDS account in order for you to subscribe to it. So there will be one day for you to subscribe it, there will be one day for the balloting, there will be one day for your share to be listed. I think all of you guys really need to understand that how are you going to buy the right business or the right shares or the right stocks in order for you not actually having any issues to it. So I'll definitely share on my subsequent slides. So let's move on. Let me walk through to the next slide. So the next slide is about advantages of investing in Malaysia IPO. Investing in Malaysian IPO can provide investors with a number of advantages. The first one is potential for long-term return. Remember, I've told you earlier that if you actually purchase a stock before it got listed in the market, you are actually getting a very cheap price. That's the reason upon listing on the market on the first day, you might actually see having a gain of more than 100%, sometimes even 200%, or probably you might not even getting any gain from it as well. I have to actually talk of the cons as well. By being on the positive side, it's good; being a negative side, it's good. But for investment and for time being, I think it's important for all of us to be very pessimistic whenever you actually investing in any financial instrument. The next one is on diversification on investment. So you might actually have some other business or some other shares in hand, so this could be a very good financial tools for you to diversify into any investment. So the next thing is on ability to gain exposure to new and emerging market. This is actually definitely a new exposure for everyone, so people that doesn't actually understand, people might actually think that only the big bosses, the directors or the institutional, or a lot of people might be thinking only those who are having a lot of money able to actually subscribe for this Malaysian IPO. But it's not like that. There are some allocation given to the public, so there are two parts where public and also private allocation given. So for the public, that's where retail traders can actually subscribe through the banks. So there are so many banks that actually attached to this IPO. For instance, bank in Public Bank, Maybank, CIMB, and maybe some other banks as well that you guys can actually subscribe to it. And the next one is on investors can also benefit from the liquidity of the Malaysian IPO market. It's because the moment actually get listed into the stock market, you would actually see huge volatile in the market. So that's where liquidity always plays the role for the stock price to increase and also to decrease. So if let's say if you believe that business actually going to do well, why not just actually buy it and keep it for a couple of years, then sell it for your for your gain, capital gain. So here it is the last but not least, as the market is relatively liquid, investors can buy and sell share quickly and easily without having to wait for long-term return on their investment. So this is the part where I've actually explained to you earlier. So let's move on to the next slide. So the next slide is related to the risk of investing in Malaysian IPO. Before you actually understand about investing or trading, you really need to understand about risk management and risk reward ratio. I think these two things is very important for everyone. The thing is that sometimes you might actually get flushed out because of the smart money is actually flushing out, or probably the business is not doing good. So I think it's important for you to understand how much could you lose from the market if you're actually investing into this IPO, I mean once you get listed. So what are those certain risks? So first of all is on potential for losses due to market volatility. As mentioned earlier, it could be you gain or could be losses as well. The risk of fraud might be also there, but I believe in Malaysia it's very slim chances for you to see the business get defaulted immediately right after the IPO. It's because, I mean, of course, people might actually put a lot of question. The investment bank, I was telling you, the investment bank would give you like tons of question. Why are you actually listing in the market? Why do you need the money? I think the most important part is the business person of the company wanted the money from the public, from the institution, to actually expand and to do more, to do more and create demand, and also for the supplies that outside there. And lastly is on the lack of liquidity in some markets. So just imagine some of the, just take it about tech stock at this point of time. Tech stock being plunging is because there is less demand. And also take a commodities not being actually asked a lot, so there will be less demand to it. So when there is a less demand, more supply, then people does not actually wanted to actually invest into this kind of business. So there's not only these two, there are logistics, there are oil and gas, there are so many things. So it's all about the demand. So whenever there is a demand, there always be a liquidity, but then whenever there's a high supply, then you will actually see a lack liquidity in the market. So last but not least, it's important for investors to be aware of the risks associated with investing in Malaysian IPO and to do research before making any investment. Definitely, I think if let's say this sharing, actually I'm getting gain about roughly more than 100 likes, or people actually commenting a lot, definitely I would actually be more details and meticulous about how to do research before making any investment proper investment decision before you actually subscribe for IPOs. Okay, so let's move on into the next slide, which is tips for investing in Malaysia IPO. This is actually at the breadth level. I'm not actually going into depth yet. When investing in Malaysian IPO, it is important to do your research and understand the risks associated with the investment. Investors should also diversify their investment and look for company with a strong track record and good fundamental. This is something that I really wanted to tell you. I think, how do you really know that specific companies that going to list in the market has a strong track record and a good fundamental? Because you can't actually know without how do you actually measure? That's impossible for you to measure the technical without listing in the stock market. So the only way is getting to know their track record, and also strong track record, and also a good fundamental. And the second one is important to be aware of the current market condition and the potential for market volatility. So at this point of time, everyone understand that the market is actually very volatile, and people are actually either pulling out their funds, either they wanted to actually be, either whenever people are fear, be greedy, or whenever people are greedy, be fear. So there are so many things being happening right now. So it's up to you guys to actually whether be pessimistic or pessimistic or optimistic at this point of time. So the next one is, it is also important to be aware of any potential conflict of interest and to ensure that the company is compliant with all the applicable regulation. I think this is something that you guys really need to do a lot of reading whenever you are actually subscribing into any IPO and also holding any stocks, because sometimes whenever there is a potential conflict of interest and also they are not complying to the regulation, you might actually see the stock might actually get flushed out or maybe delisted. Can you you imagine if, let's say, some companies are not doing well, they goes into PN17, which might get delisted in the future. You don't want that to actually happen. Just take, for example, Air Asia. Used to be PN17. I'm not really sure at this point of time. I think they are still in PN17 because of their track record. We call that track record, and the fundamental is not good anymore as those years. But Air Asia, trust me, they are one of the strongest, having a strongest income statement than before COVID. But right now, just imagine, because of the COVID period, and also people are still having the fear not to actually travel. That's the reason they are not having. And also imagine of the debt that they are actually having as well. Just the three things you really need to understand: how to read the income statement, the balance sheet, and also the cash flow of the company. These three things is actually very important for you to really analyze for the fundamental. So let me go into these links later on. So how do you actually do your IPO research, and what was happened in 2022 and what will happen in 2023. And then before that, let's go into, maybe I'll check it out this later on, but before that, let me just check about the brokers in Malaysia. So before you really have if you really wanted to sell your stocks, you have to sell it on the stock market. So in order for you to sell on the stock market, you need to actually, first you need to have a CDS account, and it has to be attached to any brokers in Malaysia. You could actually have Maybank as a broker for you. You can even have a CDS account with the Maybank, and also brokers with the Maybank. So these are the actually brokers that actually, listed in Malaysia. Like they have Afin, CIMB, Kenaga, Maybank, RHB, M Invest, UBS, JP Morgan, Malacca Security, Hong Leong, Public Investment, UOB, Mercury Capital, TA Security, Interpacific Security, and others. There are so many other brokers in Malaysia, and look at the trading volume. So right now Afin is actually holding the most for January. So the amount of almost close to 10 billion of ringgit. Can you imagine? So 13% of the market is being held by Afin Bank. So, and just imagine how strong is the brokers if you really participate to there. But it depends on the brokerage fee as well. So who are the cheapest brokers fee that you really need to understand here? You might actually need to know on that. So importantly, three things I've actually mentioned to you. First, your CDS account. Second, you need to have a broker. Third, you must make sure how to do a good analysis before buying your IPO. The last one is conclusion. I think before I go to conclusion, let's go into the link. So let me just click one of the link and see. Okay, so let me put this. So this is the first one is on the fact sheet. So you need to understand that what are the companies that actually going to be listed in the stock market. So everything will be listed over here. So for 2023, we are not seeing any companies at this point of time, but 2022, can you imagine how many companies being listed? So you just have to click one of them, and also you can go through and read through why these IPOs is actually listing in the market. So it goes by nice, the IPO statistic, business overview, growth strategies, financial performance, promotion, substantial shareholders. How many shareholders are actually having? Just imagine this: about 24, 25, 25, 50, 52, 52, 55, 63%. Can you imagine 63% hold by these three guys? But do you think they would want to actually make, the company would actually fall below this IPO price? So just imagine. It's another one tricks that I always actually see it before actually buying this IPO. But I have a lot of things. So guys, please subscribe, please like, please comment for this video. If you guys really love it, I'll definitely make another video that goes into depth how to pick a very good IPO, and from there on you guys would definitely gonna love it on it. So maybe we pick it up another one more, which I would actually say why not we just take something on AME. Yep, AME is a real estate. So real estate is something that you might actually not seeing a very good return when listed in stock market, because real estate it's pretty stable. Always real estate, definitely real estate always pretty stable compared to any other stocks. They don't really the price do not plunge a lot, do not actually shoot up a lot as well, but it goes by sideways, or maybe it goes slow, it uptrends slowly. So here it is, it goes by IPO statistic, the business overview, what is actually needed. You see the key investment highlight, you actually highlighted what are the important key things that actually need to know, and that strategy for the next 5 years. Can you read for the first 5 years? After listing, AME would actually do blah blah blah, and then next thing, and so on and so forth. And then financial performance, how do you see your financial performance here? The rental income, net property, NPI margin, and also so on and so forth. So that this is actually very summary. So that's the reason I'm actually saying, oh, most of them are actually a very good summary, and you guys just take a look. You know something, you guys don't have to go anywhere, just go into this Brusa website and just check it out. Everything is actually inside here, you don't have to worry about going anywhere else. And then let's move on. I will go into depth maybe on my subsequent sharing one by one, how actually does before and after price, and how does it actually shoot up, why it gets shoot up, and I'll definitely go very in depth in soon for you guys to really understand how things going on. And then let's go on into the next one. So the next one is what happened in 2022. So in 2022, Bursa welcomed 37 IPOs and already listed in stock exchange. So just imagine they had 37 IPOs, and I've just shown to you earlier all those are 37 IPOs in 2022. So, and what I love to actually highlight here, you'll see how the balance of the year progressed, because when we look at Malaysia, we have growth of around 5.5 GDP for 2022, and it's a compelling stories. Okay, so and next one is on 2023. How are we actually going to see in 2023? So there will be extra 2 companies will be listing in 2023, which comprises of 39 of them, and it actually surpassed of 3 billion. Can you imagine it actually inject 3 billion ringgit that being injected in the market? And look at the liquidity, the amount of liquidity will be in the market. So the amount of money will be market, that is the amount of liquidity, and people would just, you need to actually sell somehow, you need a buyer, you need a seller. So imagine 3 billions being into the market, and it is oversubscribed. Can you imagine how is the stock exchange going to be in Malaysian market? So that's the one good part for Malaysian market, and also good part for retail traders to actually get more gain from these from these IPO getting listed in the company. All right, so let me walk through to the next slide without going more further length on I mean, I just don't want to actually prolong much on this, because if you guys have any questions, just comment it down there. I'll definitely go more in depth in my subsequent sharing. Yep, I already covered this part. So the conclusion here is investing in Malaysia IPO can be like lucrative opportunities for investors for who willing to take on the risk associated with investment. However, it is important for investors to do their research and understand the risk before investing. I've actually told you guys earlier, before investing or trading anything, you really need to understand first risk management, second the risk reward ratio. Indeed, I may have actually talked to you with this. Actually, on top of that, there is actually emotional investing as well. You really need to understand. Actually, this investment world has as a different kind of psychology, where you can't be a book smart, you have to be a street smart as well, because sometimes you might actually think it might actually go up, but then it goes down, and then it deep down to the rabbit hole, you might not actually know about it. So you really need to do your research and understand the risk of before investing. The next one is aware of the risk and doing the research. Investors can benefit from the potential upside of the investing in Malaysia IPO and the potential long-term returns. Have I said to you, the gain would be there. Just imagine if 3 billions injected into the market. It means that there are a lot of money in the market. You need liquidity in order for your stock to go up. So at the same time, you need to make sure they actually hold to the price that they actually purchase at that point of time. If they are not willing to let go at that until for 5 years when they actually purchase during IPO price, trust me, it will never actually drop below IPO price, but maybe it might actually drop due to some reason. As I said earlier, on the risk, you might not want because of the business is not doing good. Second, they might not actually comply to the regulation. And last but not least, on board voyage, have a safe trip, guys. have a safe trip to actually I mean it's just a joke I'm just putting it here. I mean it's not a joke as well. It could be a good treat for you to actually embark into this IPO market journey. So investing IPO can be a rewarding experience for investors who are willing to do their research and understand the risks associated with the risk. I told you earlier, if you're really willing to actually take the risk, and I'm sure it's going to be very much rewarding, and yeah, you might be surprised the market will be actually shoot up upside. By being aware of the risk and doing their research, investors can benefit from the potential upside of the investing in Malaysian IPO. And subsequently, as I've said, last but not least, we hope you have enjoyed this presentation and wish you have a safe and successful journey as you explore the Malaysian market. Guys, I would love to actually wish you all the best if you guys are actually embarking for the first time into the Malaysian market, and if you guys think that this would be a good start for you guys to actually know what to actually invest, what to trade, or what to actually do before you start your investment and trading. As I said earlier, this would be a great starting point for you guys to really understand what is actually IPO about, how do you actually apply IPO, when do you actually apply IPO, how do you apply, and those things being actually shared into this slide. Maybe I might not actually share extensively, but somehow you might actually have an idea about this, what is IPO about. But if you guys really wanted to know extensively, please go ahead and do and subscribe, like it, and comment it down there. I'll definitely do a video for you guys, especially for you guys, and to understand how does this Malaysian IPO market works. I'm pretty sure all of you guys would definitely gonna get at least 50 to 100% gain by actually venturing into Malaysian IPO market. Hey guys, I really appreciate your time, your time, your passion, and also indeed, by all means, getting to know my audience as well is also my blessing. And guys, if you really feel that it resonates well to your expectation, to your needs, and yeah, do subscribe and like it and share it to your friends, and yeah, let's have a very good community among retail traders. I think that's all guys from me, and if you guys have any question, let me know about it. And take care guys, have a blessed day ahead. Goodbye.